talked, and then I will start a. See, they had a lady who had a really angry voice, and everybody complained. Now she's quiet. I'm going to start us to go live on Facebook here. Give me a minute here, Josh. Let's see if this is going to take. It's starting. Live
We've got
streamed.
about 30 more seconds before we go live on our end.
How exciting. Ladies, remember to smile. We'll take some pictures after, so don't run away. And we are getting ready. It says we're on Facebook. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's just have fun. That's what we're here for. Yay.
Hey, Melane, I'm getting a little bit of fan noise in the background, so if you'll try to mute yourself when you're not speaking, just so we can keep that out of the
fan noise. Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's not your fault. It's an ambient thing. It's not your fault at all.
Let me.
Okay. So I'll mute myself.
I have one in the back, like the back part. Do you think that you're hearing that?
No, the only one I was picking up anything off of was hers for right now. So it's just again not her fault. It's an ambience thing.
Okay,
Hello,
so I'll
Facebook.
mute
As soon as you hear that music, we are live.
Okay. Here we go. Hello, Facebook.
Welcome to Read My Lips Radio, a lively hour of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives. Producer and host, akaRadioRed, asks novelists, artists, photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians, composers, screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's akaRadioRed.
I still get a kick out of that intro, and I've been listening to it for 2 years. akaRadioRed in the house. I love to start a radio show live with a smile and with a laugh. I've got 4 really interesting, beautiful, smart, creative creatives with me today. But before I introduce them, I would like to have my guests, who are unnamed right now, except if you're watching us on Facebook Live, and we are broadcasting live, as well as on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. You can see the names of my guests, but we'll talk to them in a second. Ladies, I have a big favor. We have somebody named LLL who is waiting for her shout out. We start every show like this. So I'm going to count to 3, and we're all going to say on the count of 3, hello, LLL. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Hello, LLL. Oh, that was a good one. LLL is lovely, lanky Laura Legs, our most loyal listener. She's been listening for years, and every Monday night at 8:01 approximately Eastern Time, she emails me, and she will tell me how much she enjoyed hearing all of you, and she will give me a synopsis of her takeaways of what she got from listening to you. We do hear a fan noise. Josh, do you know where it's coming from? Because I know Melane is muted, so I'm not sure where it is. A very wishy kind of a noise in the background. I'll let Josh figure that out. Josh is our engineer. Everybody say hello, Josh. 1, 2, 3. Hello.
Hello, Josh.
There we go. Okay. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Creativity, creativity, creativity. It is September 20th, 2021. This is the 263rd day of the Gregorian calendar. I always say thank you to Gregory, Greggy, whatever his mommy called him. He has a good calendar, and we're still using it. This is the 37th Monday in 2021, and the Western zodiac sign is Virgo. The title of the topic today is Read My Lips, the Beauty of Courageous Creativity, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So let's go around the table and have my very special guests introduce themselves. Ladies, take about 2 to 3 minutes and tell us who you are, a little bit about what creativity does, what it means to you, how it impacts your life, and why you're here talking about it. Melane Mullings, we're so happy to have you. I'm putting you on full speaker view. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Radio Red, and hi everyone. Such an honor to be here on the show today. Thank you for having me, and I'm familiar with the other ladies that are with us, so nice to see you again as well. I am, and thank you also, Radio Red, for saying my name correctly. It doesn't happen often, so I appreciate that. Thank you. I am a business management consultant. I am the founder of AM Management Consulting, and I help struggling yet motivated business owners and entrepreneurs transition to sustained profitability by using my 3-pronged approach to achieving their business goals so that they can achieve their goals and also experience the truly abundant life. I'm also an author. I've written a book, A Lemonade, Squeeze Your Challenging Life Experiences into a Successful Business. And it's about how I transformed two near-death experiences into a successful business. I did that with minimal capital, no business experience, no business education. And you ask about what creativity means to me. Absolutely, that means adaptability. It means unconventionality. It means just being innovative. Because I didn't have the traditional preparation to start a business, I had to depend on my ability to be creative to find solutions to my business problems. So essentially, that is me and what creativity means to me.
Thank you very much, Melane. So happy to have you. And I have to mention, I believe the reason you said you know the other guests tonight is because I met you all at the National Publicity Summit, one of the virtual summits. When I lived in New York, before I moved here to North Carolina almost 4 years ago, I was a regular twice-a-year guest at the Penn Hotel across from Penn Station, where I met, I think I used to meet about 70 or 80 people in 2.5 hours and book 45 to 50 guests to fill 6 months of radio shows. Now I do it 4 times a year and book about 40 people. And you four, the two ladies down at the bottom, Ava Lacuz and Jennifer Ladd, her daughter, and Michelle Reinglass, who we're going to speak to in just a moment, as well as Melane Mullings, were all in my room. I was in their room. There were 15 breakout rooms at the summit. Whoever manages that traffic, God bless them. They do a wonderful job, right? That's quite a feat, an amazing feat. So that's how you know each other, and that's how you all came to be with me today. I was so impressed with you, with who you were. And by the way, to my listeners, to our viewers, they get 2.5 minutes on the clock to pitch me with their topic, what they want to talk about on my show. 2.5 minutes. And in that 2.5 minutes, I have to say, yes, do you want to be on my show? And I have to type their name into a Word document, their name, their email, their phone number, their topic, take notes, and say to them, okay, this is the next date. Do you want it? And these ladies said yes. So here they are. It's quite a speed dating process in terms of power pitching to the media. So that's what I wanted to clarify. Melane, thank you so much. Michelle Reinglass, nice to see you. Busy lady, addicted to busyness, not anymore. We're talking about balance with you, but why don't you go ahead and give us the full introduction, please, Michelle. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I was so happy to see some of my fellow people from the summit. So I am a reformed lawyer. I practiced law for 30 years, and if you're doing math, I started at age 5. And I transitioned to being a mediator, and I'm now a full-time mediator. And I also am a published author, a co-author of a book called Women Who Empower. It was one of 30 authors, one of Kate Butler's series of books where she has multiple authors. And that published last year, and I'm getting close to getting done with my current book, which is On Balance. That's the name. I mean, it's not the name, but that's what the topic is. And it's called How to Break Free from Addiction to Busy. So I'm also a speaker and a lot of other things, but those are the main things that are going on in my life right now.
Michelle, do you wake up and say, I am a creative person? That's how I got from that point to this point to the future point in my life. Do you see yourself as creative, or just I'm a reformed lawyer and I like to do a lot of interesting things? Is that word creativity part of your personal vocabulary?
Absolutely is. I think I'm kind of a weird former lawyer. I mean, I wasn't, I was always loving to write. I was always loving to create things. I was always loving to figure out how to do things differently. And so I put on programs, I put on women empowerment events. I did all sorts of things that weren't just in the mainstream. So for me, creativity, I think it has, well, I'll narrow it to 2 meanings. One is anything that is art, and just about everything is art. And it's whether you're writing, whether you're speaking, whether you're drawing. And I think it's interesting that we all start out as kids, and we have coloring books, and we have those kind of things that we do. And then you take toys. What do we all do with the toys? We use our imagination to create the scenario, what we're doing, with those toys. So to me, that's all creativity. And I think creativity gets stifled a little bit as we grow older and get into our business lives and whatever. So I think creativity is within all of us. And then the other part of it, and Melane actually hit this part, and I'm going to endorse it, is basically creativity in being flexible, being able to pivot, being able to think on the spot, being able to think outside the box, come up with different solutions and ideas. And as a mediator, I'm having to do that all day long. I never really thought of it before as creative, but as I've been lately in the entrepreneurial world, I have this business world over here and I have this entrepreneurial world. And in that context, I'm starting to really get a full appreciation for what creativity really is.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And now let's go to the two lovely ladies sitting there together, mother and daughter. I'm so happy to have you both. Ava, I'm pronouncing it the correct way, Ava Lacuz and Jennifer Ladd. So Ava, why don't you introduce yourself first and then we'll hear from Jennifer. You both get equal time. You're not just her, you're not her plus one, Jennifer. You are part of this show. I didn't want you to think, oh, I'm her daughter. No, we're not going to settle for that. I want to know all about you. So Ava, go ahead, please. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us. And hi, everybody. I'm Eva Lacuz. I'm a designer. I make dresses for little girls. I have a sample in my bag. Yeah, and I have four beautiful children. I'm from Puerto Rico, and we live in Minnesota right now. And I'm all my own business to make little dresses for little girls, from 0 8 years old, and creativity for me is take a fabric and do something beautiful for the little girls to look so like a princess and beautiful for any kind of activity. Yeah.
Ava, when did you discover you wanted to design dresses? Can I ask how old you were or what were you doing in your life before this, or was it always?
Oh my God, that is always. Then I was 13 years old. My English is not good, but I try to speak. But from 13 years old, my vision in my life was being a designer. But without I have a lot of struggles in my life, and just 5 years ago, I decided to start my own business. Yeah.
Well, that's brave and that's bold, and starting a business is creative, as we all know. I want to hear from Jennifer now. Jennifer, I'm putting you back on speaker view. You're with your mom, and whatever she's on camera, you're on camera. So,
Yes.
ladies, Facebook is saying, "Who are these two beautiful ladies?" Oh, they're a mother and daughter. I think they're sisters. Jennifer Ladd, I don't
Yes.
know. Jennifer, I don't know anything about you other than that you are Ava's daughter.
daughter.
That
I
didn't
know.
say much in the bio. So introduce yourself. Jennifer Ladd, go ahead.
Yeah, and I normally don't like talking about myself. Really, I'm passionate about the business and the family business. So it's kind of weird that I get asked that question. Okay, tell us about yourself. So I'm Jennifer Ladd. We're also from Puerto Rico. We're the dynamic duo here.
Yeah.
So I kind of like started. We moved to Minnesota about 8 years ago, and before that, I have a degree in journalism. And currently, I'm working in the manufacturing industry as a marketer. So I do marketing for a manufacturing industry here in Minnesota. But definitely has always been my mom's dream to become a fashion designer. And that's something that I had seen throughout my life, with her making us dresses for us three girls, for church, school uniforms and everything. And it was the best opportunity now that we were moving to America, to the US, that we saw, okay, this is a chance. And we kind of like got together and made my mom say yes. No, kind of like push her to really believe in herself. And we asked her multiple times, is this something that you really want to? We are here to help you and support you as a family. And I really enjoy the business side of things, and fashion and children's wear is something new for us. So again, I don't have a business degree or background, or my mom doesn't have a fashion background, but both together, like you said, with that creativity, it's just imagination. It's just that something impulsive that comes from the inside of you to really create something new and beautiful. And that's something that we both share. We're both creative, just in our own ways. And I'm married, and I'm currently expecting my first baby.
Oh, how
And
lovely.
it's more of my personal life, but we both share this passion of, creating her clothing line, and we hope that continues that way.
Well, welcome to both of you. And I have news for you.
you.
I don't know how many people know. I don't have a degree in journalism. I don't have a degree in business. I started in radio, I don't know, just because somebody asked me to go on a radio show many years ago. I
And
was
you took
doing.
that first step.
I took that first step, but I was
Yeah.
actually started a couple of TV shows on public access in Long Island because somebody invited me to talk on a talk show, and I was a comedian at the time, marketing director for a big company, but also doing stand-up comedy. And somebody said, "Come and talk about the art of comedy." And I discovered we had a local TV station 10 blocks from my house in Great Neck, Long Island. And I looked around and I said, "What in the world is this?" And they said, "This is public access." I said, "What's that?" And they said, "Go across the street to that other building and sign up." And I said, "Could I have my own TV show?" And they said, "Sure." And I took a class. I paid something like $150. They trained me. And then about 2 months later, I had my own comedy show called What's So Funny. And then I started a talk show, and then another talk show, and another talk show. But what I have to tell you, Ava and Jennifer, is in 2000, I started a show called Senior Moments, the Happy Ones, with my mom. My mom was in her late 80s at the time. And I had started the show, and I invited a couple of local friends who wanted to be, Michelle, I think you get a kick out of this. There were some gentlemen who wanted to be elected to certain positions in our village area in Great Neck. Village elections are a big deal. You know, the park district, you get life insurance, health insurance for life, and you get to be in the paper every 30 seconds, and big deal. I'm not making fun, but maybe I am. And I said, I asked these couple of men to come on and talk about what they wanted to do if they got elected. And one day I was in the car, I started crying, and I realized I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for my mom. And I called her up and I said, "Mom, do you want to be a co-host with me on Senior Moments?" And she said, "Sure." And we did 227 shows together over 17 years. And she passed away in my arms 1 month and 13 days after her 100th birthday. And we did a birthday party for her on her 100th birthday on our TV show. So mother and daughter, Ava and Jennifer, so important to me. And I will tell you that whenever I was walking around Great Neck, whatever I was doing, people would stop me and say, "Hey, how's your mom?" I said, "Do I know you?" They said, "No, but we see you on TV and we see how loving the two of you are." And that's very rare to see a mother. And I know I would go into Goodwill and people would say, "Hey, how's Ruth?" I said, "What?" They said, "Yeah, we see you and your mom on TV all the time. We love her. She was the star." She was the star, and she'd make up a little line. I'd say what my name was. My name wasn't Radio Red on that show, but she'd say, and she'd make up a different meaning for her middle initial, which was B for Betty, like Betty Davis, Bette. She'd make up different names for the B. And somebody said, "Do you two write the script for your show?" I said, "Get out of here. We just talk. We're having fun." And it was quite an experience. So there, I applaud you, mother and daughter, doing something important together. Ladies, I've asked you before we started the show, and thank you all for the introductions. I'm very appreciative of all of you for your time and for sharing your creativity with us here on Read My Lips Radio. I asked you all each to send me your favorite quote, and I did a little research on the quotes, and I want you to tell me in your own words. I'll read the quote in a little background. Elaine, you're up first. Where the quote came from, a little bit about it, and I'd like you to tell me, just take about 3 minutes each, what does this have to do with creativity? So Melane Mullings sent me a quote from the character Josephine Lynn Joey Potter, some of you may remember, played by that Katie Holmes. Yes, we know who she was. Dawson's Creek, American teen drama TV series, 1998 to 2003, 128 episodes about a close-knit group of friends from high school through college. And the quote is from Joey Potter: "Dreams aren't perfect, Dawson. Dreams come true, not free." Melane, talk to us. What does this have to do with creativity? I love the quote. Go ahead.
Well, interestingly enough, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background on that quote. It was pivotal in my journey to start my business. At the time that I had heard it, I was working as a travel nurse, a registered nurse, and I was on night shift. and I was getting ready to take my break and take a quick nap. And when I went into the break room on the TV, Dawson's Creek was playing. And I wasn't a huge fan of the TV show. It was just on in the background. And as I was dozing off on my break, those words, dreams come true, not free, just resonated with me. And I thought, wow, I've already thought about starting a business, but this really resonated with my mindset at the time that, hey, your dreams take effort, they take focus, they take drive, they take discipline, they take you investing yourself in them. They come true, but they don't come free. And so, in terms of creativity, I had to, when I sign emails now, I typically sign them create a great day. And I think that's important to look at our lives in general. We have the ability to create the success that we desire. We have a part to play, and putting in that effort. And again, just that unconventional approach to business is really the journey that I progressed on, because like you, I didn't have a business degree. I had very minimal capital when I started my business, no business education, but I took an understanding of my purpose and I implemented key strategies, which I discuss in the book. And I used that understanding of my purpose and consistently and intentionally implementing those strategies to create the business that it became.
Thank you very much. I love the story about the quote. You never know what's going to come out of something. I think a lot of people are getting those wisps of quotes from the popular TV show Ted Lasso. It won a bunch of awards at the Emmys last night. And if you get between the F-bombs, they're actually saying some interesting stuff, especially between the doctor, the psychiatrist, psychologist brought in Sharon, and Ted, those moments of revealing their difficulties in their past. Very interesting, but quotable moments from TV are certainly one. And that's why, ladies, when I ask for a quote, I ask for something from a fictitious character from a movie or a TV show or a song lyric, because somebody put those words into a character they created or a song they wrote. And that's why it's not, oh, Einstein, oh, we love Maya Angelou, but enough already. That's why I stopped getting quotes, asking for quotes from Einstein and Darwin and Steve Jobs, and bless him, and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and Winston Churchill and Mark Twain. Enough already. So that's what I'm looking for. Michelle Reinglass, let's go to your quote. This is getting used on a lot of my business shows, by the way. Quote from Rocky Balboa, played by the one and only Sylvester Stallone, spoken to his son, Robert Jr., played in this movie, which is 2006 Rocky Balboa, played by Milo Ventimiglia. And I'm just going to read the quote because I don't think anybody needs me to explain about Rocky. So here it is. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Michelle, did I do that okay?
You did marvelous.
Sorry. Please rescue me. I'm putting you on speaker view. Michelle, how do you pick this one for creativity? Go ahead.
Well, excuse me, just right as I was going to talk. So one part of the creativity process is the part where it's not easy. And a lot of people give up their dreams and give up their hopes because it gets hard. And so this one really sang to me. I'm in the middle of writing my book, and there's a number of times where you can get very frustrated, and it hit me at that point. I said, that's what this is all about. You got to keep moving one foot in front of the other. You got to take whatever it's going to take. You got to take whatever hit it is. So
very, 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 very true. And I read a couple of chapters from your book that you and Frank sent me. Thank you very much for those. And we'll get to your chapter a little bit later. Michelle, I want to make time to talk about you standing up to a judge who was, quote unquote, in bed business wise with the lawyer, and 32 visits to that courtroom. And they went ahead without you on the 32nd when you were only 10 minutes late and the other lawyer for the first time was on time. Guess why? So and you stood up and you talked back to the judge and you did some really kicking back. It's how you win is when you get back and do what you need to do to move ahead. You broke new ground by doing it. So I know I gave away half the chapter, but we'll talk about that a little more. Thank you, Michelle. Obviously, I read it. I wanted you to know that. Let's go to the quote from Ava Lacuz, and Ava has sent a wonderful quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991 sci-fi action film. And this is an exchange between the characters John Connor, played by Edward Furlong, and the Terminator Arnold Schwarzenegger, where the former teaches the latter the use of slang. Let me read the whole scene here, Ava. I think everybody will appreciate it. John Connor says, no, 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 no. You got to listen to the way people talk. You don't say affirmative or some shit like that. You say no problemo. And if someone comes up to you with an attitude, you say, eat me. And if you want to shine on them, it's hasta la vista, baby. And Terminator 800, Mr. Schwarzenegger, Governor Schwarzenegger, not at the time, says, hasta la vista, baby. Now, it's also used again before he shattered the liquid nitrogen frozen T-1000 with a gunshot, pausing before he said, baby. And in the European Spanish version of the film, the phrase was changed to sayonara, baby, to keep it funny. But in the Hispanic American version, it was stayed at hasta la vista, baby. So on that note, I'm going to ask you, Ava, what in the world does this have to do with creativity? Because I love the quote, but you got to help me out here. Talk to me, Ava.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That's funny. But hasta la vista, baby. Adios. For me, is adios, dudas. Can you translate?
Oh, yeah. Goodbye, doubts.
Yeah, goodbye, doubts. And this is my day. I take my business to take the first step for my own business.
And
yeah.
I think it was such an iconic kind of like Spanish phrase that was like, okay, we have to go with something funny, but also everybody will know about it. And I'm sure you're all probably laughing about it. It's like, why in the heck? But it's just really iconic, and like everybody reminds it, and everybody can just say it, and they will have a perfect Spanish saying it.
And did you know, Jennifer and Ava, did you know that Jody Watley used it in her 1987 song "Looking for a New Love"? The
No.
line, yes, and Tone Loc used it in his 1988 song "Wild Thing." I do my homework, ladies. So
Nice.
this great, and it was
We only
also
watched the movie.
and it was also used in 1970 when Bob Hope said "Hasta la vista, baby" to Raquel Welch, and they did a tribute, a special on her Raquel Welch special, a tribute to Rocky Balboa, and they called it Rocky Raccoon. And he said, hasta la vista, baby. Anyway, thank you. And now let's go to, I have a quote also from Jennifer. I forced
Yes.
Jennifer to send me a quote. I made her do it, just so you know.
Yes.
And this is becoming an iconic quote. The quote is stated by Dory, a regal blue tang fish with a short-term memory loss, voiced by the one and only Ellen DeGeneres. The movie, of course, Finding Nemo, 2003 American computer animated adventure film, and her signature song is the quote, "Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, 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 swimming." Jennifer, you're up. Talk to us.
Yes, I love that movie. I'm old, but I still watch it sometimes. I think everybody with, kids and that you can just still remember and hearing Ellen, as a Dory fish saying it, just keep swimming and just keep trying, never give up. And that's kind of like how she went throughout the movie, just trying to find her parents, and she keeps forgetting, things, but she kept trying, she never gave up. So I have tons of other movies that I really love, but I thought that would be also an iconic that everybody will know and could identify at some, periods of their lives feeling lost and just trying to find their own path. And that's just kind of like what myself, feel identified with Dory. No, I sometimes forget things, but mostly it's just keep pushing and just keep swimming. Just keep trying in life, no matter how hard things get. If you don't try, nobody else is going to try for you. So that's what Dory did. And that's kind of like my life goal. Just keep trying.
Thank you.
What is in the other side.
That's right. You never do, and you never know who you're going to meet when you're looking up and when you're smiling and when you're thinking creatively, right? Okay. Let's go to some famous birthdays today. I don't know how many of you will remember. I'm keeping you all on full view, ladies, so you're all being seen right now on Facebook. We got all five of us here on the screen. September 20th, famous people birthdays. Anybody remember Sophia Loren? She's still
Yes.
alive and well. Yes. Her
Beautiful. Yes.
full name, Sophia Villani Scioli, Dame Grand Cross OMRI, and her movie name is Sophia Loren. She's 87 today. And during the 60s, 1960s, she starred in films as a, get this, you'll be surprised, Michelle, you may not recognize this, but I didn't even know this was how it was categorized. She starred in movies as a sexually emancipated persona. And was one of the best known sex symbols in the movies. Yet she was always elegant. Michelle, do you remember Sophia Loren in movies? I do a little bit.
I definitely do. Yeah.
I didn't know she was epitomizing the emancipated woman. I had not.
I didn't know it was a movement, but I just knew that was what she was, sensual, sexy,
Yes. And smart, I think, and very elegant, very, very elegant.
Classy.
Speaking of elegant, before I go to the next one, I have a sidebar here for Ava and Jennifer, actually for all of you. We all binge, I guess, when you have some downtime binging, right? Getting balance, Michelle, is bringing in fantasy and fiction into your life. Well, I don't read a lot because I read for my radio show, but I watch a lot of TV shows. I discovered a 1983 version of Partners in Crime, which is based on Agatha Christie mysteries. And Ava and Jennifer, if you can find it, I don't remember if it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime. The costumes, the clothes are to die for. The woman who stars, her name is Francesca Annis, Annis, and the man, and they're both still alive. He's John Warwick. She has a collection of hats, if you could imagine, that match her dresses and her suits and her jewelry, the ruffles, the fabrics. Ava, for inspiration, please, you and Jennifer, try to find the early version, 1983, of Partners in Crime. There have been many subsequent spin-offs of the Agatha Christie mysteries, but this woman has a face, her eyebrows are thin drawn like this, and eyeshadow goes from the eyes all the way up to the brows. It's like there's a little aura of light gray around her eyes. It's just dramatic. Very short hair, waved,
Nice.
the pin curl wave, and elegant to the point of you can't wait. You really don't give much crap about the next mystery, and she and her husband are very wealthy, but they're bored, so they buy a defunct detective agency named the Blunt Agency, and she pretends to be his sister, Miss Robinson, and he pretends to be Mr. Blunt, and everybody hires them because they guarantee, talk about a business model, Melane Mullings, they promise 24-hour turnaround to solve any crime and any mystery.
Wow.
And it takes them everywhere. They're adorable, but the clothes, if you want to see something, ladies, and it really was supposed to be, I think, in the 40s or 50s, even though it was filmed in 1983. The clothing is just Ava, you will not believe the glamour and the simplicity, the pleats and the tucks and the fabrics and the colors they use. It's like watching a fashion show. Just fast forward, but look at the fashions. Anyway, that's my gift to you. So let's do some more birthdays now. There's a gentleman named George, known as George Martin RR, or known as GRRM, 73 today. Anybody know who he is? Ring a bell? Nobody? Okay. Well, he wrote a series of epic fantasy novels called A Song of Ice and Fire. And guess what? They were adapted into the TV series on HBO, Game of Thrones. Who knew? Well, when you search for birthdays, you find interesting people. So happy birthday, GRRM. Now let's go to a woman who was in a comedy show called Third Rock from the Sun. Anybody remember the character Sally Solomon, played by Kristen Angela Johnson. Kristen Johnson. She's 54 today. Can you believe that? Seriously. And then we have Van Jones, who is, I'm not getting into politics, but he's a CNN contributor and a host and a lawyer and a best-selling author, and he's 53. Happy birthday, Van Jones. He always adds an air of elegance to me when I see him. And there's somebody whose name I didn't know. Was anybody a fan of Viola Davis's TV series, How to Get Away with Murder? Yes? Anybody watch that? Oh, unreal. Unreal. Talk about murders and things going on in basements and behind the scenes and throwing off of roofs and murders in all kinds of places. And they got away with them for 7 years. And she was the lawyer who taught them how. Anyway, the actor who played a very, very, very cute but very bad boy named Frank Delfino named Charles Allen Weber Jr. is 43 today, and I was a fan of his because he was so good looking and so incredibly talented and bad. Ann Mira. Anybody remember Ann Mira, wife of Jerry Stiller, mother of Ben Stiller? She passed away 6 years ago, but she was born today. Actress and comedian, half of the prominent 1960s comedy team, Stiller and Mira. Mira was, I think, a lady ahead of her times. And I have 3 birthdays of people whose names I thought were very interesting. One is a wrestler. I found this on Unusual Names of Birthday People. A wrestler named Sexy Star. I don't have any idea who Sexy Star is. I think it's a guy, and he is 39. Happy birthday. Then there's somebody called Zilli Kami, Zillikami. It's a rapper. Anybody heard of the rapper? No?
No.
I didn't either, but happy birthday. And then there's a YouTube star who's 23 named Scrubza, like Scrubza, Scrubzah. Okay, now we're going to do some holidays. We have national holidays. I'll rush through these very quickly. I want you all to raise your hands when you get to where we are. Okay, so today is September 20th. It's National Fried Rice Day. Anybody like fried rice? Raise your hand. Michelle, do you ever eat fried rice?
Not really.
Not really. I take some leftover rice. I buy the 90-second rice, clip the top and put it in the microwave, and then I add a scrambled egg to the rice in a frying pan and a little bit of soy sauce and honey, and I make my own fried rice. There you go. It's National Pepperoni Pizza Day. Who likes pepperoni pizza?
Yum.
Okay, how about Punch Day? Anybody have a punch bowl where you make fruit juice and you pour something a little bit grown up into it? Remember punch at parties and at proms and all that? Michelle, did you ever run into any law cases about somebody having too much to drink from the punch bowl?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Okay, it's also National Queso Day, as in quesadilla. It's String Cheese Day, and it's in Japan, it's Respect for the Aged Day. So if you know somebody who is of Japanese origin and they're over whatever age you think is old and they're aged, you say, I respect you. That's it. Tomorrow, September 21st, is National Miniature Golf Day. Anybody here play miniature golf? Used to? Okay. It's also National Chainmail Day. Anybody remember getting chain mails in the email? Remember?
No.
Anybody remember? Melane, do you ever remember
Please do
getting
not bring
it?
those back.
I know. It's where you have to add your name and keep it going. Remember that? Okay.
Or you'll have bad
Okay.
luck.
Bad luck, yes. If you don't respond, did you ever get any of those, Jennifer? If you don't
Yes.
respond and you
I
got
think I
3
still
days,
do.
really, do not.
Nope.
No, do not. We'll just leave it there. Okay, it's also IT Professionals Day. I was an IT professional back in the day as a programmer analyst. I'm considered an early woman in tech because I was a programmer analyst running big systems back in the days of key punching and Xerox 6 Sigma CP5, and I was coding in PL1 and in COBOL way back in the day, no longer. And it's also Pecan Cookie Day. Anybody like pecan cookies?
I do, especially with caramel with it.
Seriously? Do you drizzle it over or is that in the recipe?
It's in the recipe.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Send
Yeah,
it to,
very,
send
very
it to
good.
me. I'm trying to go gluten free, but for that I would give it up for a day. Wednesday is American Business Women's Day. Michelle, how are you going to celebrate Business Women's Day? You got any tips for us?
Also, Life Balance Day. So I haven't quite figured out. Probably a Facebook post or something.
Well, it's also Girls Night In Day. It's Ice Cream Cone Day, and it's White Chocolate Day. Anybody prefer white chocolate over dark? I know dark is supposed to be healthy.
100%. Love it.
White chocolate.
chocolate. Oh, I
and
love
it's
it.
so sweet, isn't it?
It is, but I love it more than chocolate for sure.
Looks better on you than it does on me. We'll leave it alone. Thursday is National Redhead Appreciation Day. You can all go ahead and appreciate me today, even though it's 3 days early. Thank you very much. It's National, get this, Dogs in Politics Day. I think that's when you have people who are heads of state whose dogs are, Nixon had checkers and Roosevelt had a dog, and we know lots of presidents in the U.S. have dogs who are part of the family. I think that's what they meant. I don't know whether the dogs actually have a party affiliation other than the family they belong to. It's also Great American Pot Pie Day. Does anybody still eat pot pies? Melane?
I do. Chicken pot pie. I love it. I had one last week, actually, last Monday.
Homemade or store-bought, may I ask?
Store-bought.
Store-bought. Ava and Jennifer, do you have anything like a pot pie in native Puerto Rican cuisine?
Not really.
No.
You know it is. You take some bechamel sauce you make with a little bit of butter and flour and milk, a white cream sauce, and you throw in pieces of chicken and peas and carrots and any kind of. Melane, did I leave anything out? And then you put a crust on it. You bake
Corn.
it.
Nothing comes to mind right now, but it sounds delicious.
It's actually really, really good. And then Friday is National Vegetarian Day. So a vegetarian would not be eating the chicken pot pie, but maybe just the vegetables in the cream sauce. It's Cherry's Jubilee Day. Anybody remember Cherry's Jubilee, where they come and light it on fire? Michelle, do you remember Cherry's Jubilee in fancy restaurants?
Yeah.
What did they do? Did they light it with a
They
flame?
did have like some kind of a flame, right? And it would be like it would just be the presentation, being brought over and
Like bananas Foster and yes, and all kinds of things that they flame at the table that cost 10 times as much and a lot of fun until the flame goes out and you got all the calories. Okay, let's leave that one on. It's Punctuation Day on Friday. It's also the world's biggest coffee morning day. I have no idea why. And it's World Bollywood Day. Does anybody follow Bollywood movies? Anybody a big fan?
No.
They're extravaganzas. I know that, and the costumes are gorgeous. I don't know if that would inspire you. Let's finish this up quickly here. September 25th, Saturday, is National Bunny Day. Hop, hop, hop. It's Comic Book Day. It's Daughter's Day. Ava, please plan to celebrate your beautiful daughter on that day. It's also Ghost Hunting Day. It's Lobster Day. Who likes lobster? Anybody still a fan of
do.
lobster? You do? You eat
Yep.
it with,
Yep.
do you dip it in butter or do you just eat it plain?
I dip it in butter. Yeah.
I gave up the butter. If the lobster's really sweet, I don't eat it. But I'll pick it out of the corners and the corners and the crevices of the shell, and never a drop to be left in the shell when I'm done with it. My dad taught me very, very well. It's also Cooking Day, so go cook something on the 25th. Sunday, the 26th, is National Johnny Appleseed Day. I guess that's when they plant the seeds. Remember, Johnny Appleseed is a lore in the U.S. about a man who went and spread seeds for apple trees, and apple trees grew up all over the United States. It's Chimichanga Day. I don't even know what a chimichanga is. Does anybody know?
No.
No.
What kind of Mexican sandwich?
Can I help you with that?
Chimichanga. It's Dumpling Day and it's Pancake Day. Michelle, you look troubled. Do you remember what a chimichanga is?
I think, okay, I can be totally butchering this. There's something long and sweet. It's a pastry type thing.
Okay. Well,
Something else.
we'll look it up afterwards. And it's also, next Monday, before I'm on the air, people will be celebrating. It's Crush a Can Day. That's for recycling. Crush your soda cans when you put them in the recycling to fit more and cut down on the greenhouse gases somehow. It's also No Excuses Day, so there's no excuses for not crushing your cans on Monday. And it's also National Chocolate Milk Day. And we'll just leave. Does anybody remember You Bet syrup? You Bet syrup. It's a chocolate syrup. It was manufactured by the You Bet, Fox's You Bet. And I discovered when I was on Long Island working part-time as an editor and a writer for the Great Neck Record local newspaper, they asked me to interview the mayor of one of our 15 villages. It turns out his last name was Fox. Turns out he was the grandson, I believe, of the Fox's You Bet family. And he liked my interview so well, he sent me a case of You Bet chocolate syrup after the interview appeared in the paper. You can't get it in all parts of the country. And somebody I know very well until recently was ordering a gallon bottle from Amazon of it's really good. It's really good over ice cream. You just use it a little bit at a time, but you don't have to buy the little anyway. There we go. So ladies, that was the national holidays. Thank you for playing along with that. Let's go around the table. And I want to talk a little bit about what you do as far as, let's talk, Melane, how do you bring 3 minutes each? We have about 13 minutes left. So I want to divide the time equally, and there are 4 of you. So let's say 2.5, 3 minutes each. Melane, in terms of your book, I like the title about lemonade and squeezing. Give us the title again. And at the very end of the show, you'll give websites. I know yours isn't ready yet, but you'll tell people where they can find it. How did you come up with the creativity for your title? And we'll do your next, Michelle, and then we'll talk about your clothing line, Ava and Jennifer. So, Melane, how did you come up with the title for your book, and anything else you want to tell us about how creativity figures into your non-traditional approach to business coaching? Go ahead, Melane.
So thank you so much for asking that question. The title was something that just rested on my heart even before I wrote the book, honestly. I wanted to write about the idea that you can squeeze your challenging experiences into a successful business. And the whole idea of when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And so calling it lemonade is really celebrating the fact that, lemons are tart and, they don't have the best taste on their own unless they're mixed with something, right? And so really getting to the idea that when we have challenging life experiences, which in the book I call lemon experiences, experiences that threaten to derail us and crush us and paralyze us, but we can squeeze those experiences into a successful business. And my approach to doing that, as I mentioned, I took 2 near-death experiences that I survived and gleaned lessons from them. And especially now with COVID, a lot of folk are living in challenges, right? And having to navigate them consistently. I mean, all of us in one degree or another are facing challenges as it relates to life now. And so really empowering individuals to understand that inherent in our challenges are seeds that can create success. Now, I typically work with individuals that understand that creating a business is their life's purpose. And so it starts with that, understanding what your purpose is. And if that involves a business, then using your challenging life experiences to create success in your business. So how creativity ties into that and the unconventional approach for me, once again, because I was an RN when I started my business. So I had to really be incredibly creative about how I secured funding, get creative about how I, business planning, etc. I had never written a business plan. And just a little tip, which when I tell this to other business owners, etc., they just shriek. For the 13 years that I ran my first entrepreneurial venture, I never had a business plan, a traditional business plan. And so I kept within my mind an understanding of my business goals. I'm incredibly meticulously organized. And so I used that strength of mine, brought that to my business, and I used creative ways to operate effectively and efficiently, et cetera. So creativity was a huge part of how I ran my business and created success from my unconventional approaches, and really encouraging others that you don't have to be insecure if you don't have the traditional preparation for a business, or if you just have an understanding of a passion like Ava and Jennifer, understanding that this is what you love and really moving in that direction, you can create a successful business. And so that is my whole platform now, is to really give folk hope to know that from your challenges, you can create the lemonade of your success.
Thank you. So beautifully presented. I really appreciate that, Melane. Very inspiring. And I just love the fact of lemonade conjures up all kinds of images of a hot day and a cool beverage and how many lemons and do you put sugar in it and how many ice cubes. And is it like a Long Island iced tea? You got something a little more potent from the punch bowl in the bottom of that glass. And yes, speaking of somebody drinking, I don't know if she's drinking the lemonade, as long as she's not drinking the Kool-Aid. Michelle Reinglass, I'm going to give you about 3 minutes as well. Talk to me about how you use creativity, a little bit about, well, you broke a lot of ceilings, or you broke through a lot of walls in your career as a female lawyer in sounds like a male-dominated old boy type of network, brotherhood, and you had to really crash through, and it wasn't the cars that were crashing on the highway. Why don't you take about 3.5 minutes, Michelle, and tell us how you use creativity to do what you do?
All right, thank you. So, yes, I had a lot of firsts as a female in the my law career, but before that, I was in banking, so I was breaking through over there as well. That was real interesting. Real quick, I got hired at the bank to be a law clerk, and it was my last year of law school. And on my last day of my job, I'd been there 5 years, moving up the ranks. And this was my great escalation. And the head of personnel came in to give me what he said was good news and bad news. He said they're looking forward to you starting there on Monday, but they're not ready for you to be a law clerk. They want you to start as a legal secretary. And I said, I've done all those jobs. I'm ready to be a law clerk. And so we went back and forth, and he said, well, they'll get used to you. Just come and start as a secretary and they'll get used to you. And I went back and forth with what's to get used to? I mean, it was like a whole dynamic. And so after back and forth with this, and I finally said, I will go back. I will start there Monday as a law clerk that you hired me for. And he said, no, come as a legal secretary and you'll work your way up. And I said, law clerk's the lowest job on the planet. So anyway, he wouldn't back down and I wouldn't either. So I said, I quit. And I had never been without a job since I was 13 years old. So, but anyway, I managed to get a job and pass the bar and, all that. But it took me a while to figure out, I would have been the first female in the bank's law department to have been in the law capacity. So I carried that into I think law school was definitely, there's nothing, I wouldn't say that I had any bias or anything there. It was, a lot of women were in the classes. The lawyers population was low in terms of females, about 20-25%. And it's been growing and women have been advancing, but there is still a lot of work to be done. And we're not there yet. That having been said, I think that there's been a lot of advancement. What I do on the creative side, I got into writing about the experiences, and I had that opportunity in my chapter in Women Who Empower. And then in this book, what I'm trying to do is empower people to live a balanced life. And what I want to sort of leave as a takeaway, I went through a lot. I kept thinking that I found all the magic sauces and all the cures, and how to be balanced. And what I really was doing, I was living behind my success as a front. I started realizing it was kind of masking what was really going on behind the scenes. And of course, the picture everybody saw was a successful lawyer. And so then when I transitioned to being a mediator, I told everybody, I said, okay, I'm going to have a lot more time for all of you, everybody who's complained about not having time with me. And I couldn't understand what I'm doing, all the right things, I thought. And I realized it took me one of those epiphany moments to realize it wasn't my career. It wasn't my job. It was me. And I carried my baggage from place to place. And when I finally got that, and then it took a few more tweaks. And so it's going through all those things, along with 2 autoimmune conditions that I got diagnosed with. And the final straw was my green smoothie spill, slip and fall, when I got a concussion. And I continued to work that day. Did go to the hospital, found out I had a concussion, and powered through. And it was like, I finally went, what's wrong with you? So anyway, those things were my wake ups. So I basically want to help people not have to get a knock on the head. There are messages, we're getting messages every single day of what's good, what's bad, and we just have to pay attention.
Thank you very much. And balance is what you're going to be talking about. Quickly, what's the website where people can find about you, Michelle?
www.reinglassadr.com or www.reinglass, without the ADR, reinglass.com.
And it's REINGLASS. Okay, thank you. Let's go quickly. We've got just about 3 minutes left here. Ava and Jennifer, both or either one of you, wrap it up with creativity and how that impacts. I think we already know, but talk to us a little more. And where can people find you and your beautiful designs? Go ahead.
Absolutely. So just to wrap it up, again, thank you for inviting us on your show. We're really excited about this opportunity. And I hope I take away from your audience is that, you should definitely take that first step if you're passionate about something that you're creative on. Never wait for somebody to help you. Just find a way to help yourself. I think just believing in yourself, that's the first step that you should definitely take. That's what took my mom, after 4 decades of dreaming of becoming a fashion designer when she was little to really making it into New York Fashion Week. I think that was key to really develop this business. It was a passion of hers, and creativity is definitely key, especially you just have to have love, passion, patience, and the talent. I think people that don't have patience may get desperate and they just want to quit the next day. I think having or owning a business, it definitely it involves patience and passion on them. So yeah, we are really excited to really share with your audience. Our website is evalacuz.com. Again, that is evalacuz without the R .com.
And I'll spell that. It's EVALACUZ.com. And thank you, ladies. And Melane, I know your
Thank
website
you.
isn't ready yet, but it will be yourname.com, right? MELANEMULLINGS.com. Ladies, it's been lovely speaking with you. And I have a couple of closing messages. And thank you to Josh, who keeps us on track. He just told me we've got, I think, about a minute left. So I have some closing words to live by. Life is short. Break the rules. Forgive quickly. Kiss slowly. It's the only way to kiss, trust me. Love truly. Laugh uncontrollably. Everybody laugh with me. Come on. There you go. And never regret anything that made you smile. And here are my final closing words. Work like you don't need the money, even though there are times when we all do. Don't let anybody know it. Let your passion for what you're doing shine through. We all need the money at some point. Don't let them be, oh my God. Do it with passion. Dance like no one's watching. And back in the day, I was teaching disco, standing on high heels on a Formica tabletop in a cafeteria in Eugene, Oregon, teaching disco dancing to 250 people, getting paid $2.23 an hour because my boyfriend said I was his assistant, Michelle, and they wouldn't pay me the $5 an hour they gave him, an hour drive each way. But we taught you should be dancing. What can I tell you? So dance like no one's watching, and people really watched me back in the day. Sing like nobody's listening, la, and I try not to sing on the radio, and love like you've never been hurt, because honestly, we've all been hurt. The heart will regenerate, the heart will heal, the heart will open up to new kinds of love and new ways of loving. So let that into your life. Money talks, chocolate sings. And last but not least, and I stole this line from another host years ago, thank you for turning me on. Radio Red saying, bye, ladies, don't go away. We're going to stop, say goodbye to Facebook. We're going to go away. We're going to take some pictures. Thank you, Josh. Bye, Facebook. Josh? Josh, did you forget us? I stopped.